Good evening, people. Have I got some tweets for you tonight? As usual, we're here looking at some more ex-mutants, looking at some more delusional tweets from that part of our fan base. Straight in the top three countdown. At 3 is Ardent Gooner, very ardent. He says, are we looking at the next Thierry Henry and Victor Gyökeres? So we're straight into it here. Well, the answer is no. And not that I'm against Victor. I actually backed him pretty much from the start. I preferred him to Šeško, however you're supposed to pronounce that. However, to be comparing him to Thierry Henry is a slight stretch of the imagination. This guy, by the way, has 145,000 followers. Follows me as well, bless him. 145,000 followers reading this. I don't think the comments are particularly going to be very complimentary towards him. Now look, Gyökeres is on course for like 20 plus goals this season. I think he'll definitely get over 20 goals, injuries aside. Hopefully he doesn't get smashed up in the next few games. He'll definitely get to over 20 goals, but I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on calling him Thierry Henry, because that's a little bit of a step up for him. Let's just say that. He's not even the same player, of course. I mean, Gyökeres is kind of more like an Alan Shearer type player, of the old school variety, somebody who's just got that shot on him, as we saw against Spurs, and he's got that kind of physical hold up, give me the ball, I'll shoot quickly type play. He's not going to be coming inside and dropping and all this kind of stuff like Thierry Henry did. He's not going to be running through like Henry against Spurs at Highbury, running the length of the pitch and scoring a goal. So no, Ardent Gunner, we are not looking at the next Thierry Henry and Victor Gyökeres. If only it were true. Sadly it isn't, and this tweet is once again just reminiscent of the type of over-the-top crazy reactions that our fan base is just so infamous for these days. This is why we get cussed out by the likes of Scholes and Deeney and called delusional. Silly little comments like this. On we go to tweet number 2. And this is Monty back again. The famous full Monty, the famous fan Monty. I could do an entire show on this guy every day. He has about 5 or 6 of these every day. It's difficult to ignore him though. 16,000 followers as well, so he's getting clout. He's getting some views for saying things like this, quote, basically the current Arsenal team is what Pep inherited when he took over Man City. He then got to spend about $1 billion more than Arteta has on top of that over the past 6 years on fees and wages. Yet you have Simon Jordan saying, if manipulate everything and go by just money, this very minute, 3-year time period, then Arsenal are the bad guys, end quote. That was a horrendous last sentence, by the way, so I apologise for that. Not mine, but I should have kind of just missed that out, basically. But essentially what this is it harks back to the usual pre-excuse making that we're always going to have with this part of our fan base. If we don't win the title, if we don't win this, that or the other, it's always going to go back to Man City being cheats, Man City being able to spend more money. There's oil money, despite the fact that we are sponsored by the Emirates, who ultimately come from oil money. Yes, I know that the Fly Emirates itself isn't oil money, but who owns the whole thing? Just trace it all the way back. It's still oil money originated, oil money orientated. So the whole oil money shtick and line of defense is completely false and just kind of stupid, really, and just naive, and it just makes us look a bit silly. But they do a lot of things to make us look a bit silly, and that's the annoying thing, because you meet people in the gym, you meet people at work, and they think that you're a delusional fan as well when you say you're an Arsenal fan. They just automatically assume that you're delusional because you say you're an Arsenal fan these days. Back in the day, believe it or not, we actually used to be quite well respected. We actually used to have an elite manager with an elite team full of world-class players who were doing elite things like winning invincibles, like winning doubles. Now we don't have that. And people are trying to cling on to anything, saying things like success is competing, like we had the other day. And because we're not truly elite, we have to find excuses as to why we're not elite, apparently, as opposed to actually holding people to account. And this account on X is someone who is one of the best at lacking accountability. Now, on we go. This guy has featured before. This guy is the top tweet of the day for me. And I'm just going to say what he says because it's quite resplendent in its craziness. Quote, on everyone's life, this, Martin Odegaard, is the best player to play for Arsenal in the past 10 years. Just let that sink in. There's some AI Odegaard in this as well, if it wasn't enough. This guy, a dot here at crack. He's been smoking too much of it. And he's got a picture of Odegaard as his avatar. And he's using a selection of very basic Odegaard passes to demonstrate that he's the best player to play for Arsenal in the past 10 years. Odegaard spinning around on the spot. Odegaard beats one person. Odegaard just basically passes the ball. Is it going to go forward? Is this going to go forward here? Eventually, no, he doesn't even pass the ball forward. He just dances around with it. This apparently constitutes the greatest player to play for Arsenal in 10 years. Not Alexis Sanchez, not Santi Cazorla, not Mesut Ozil, none of those, not Aubameyang, nobody like that. None of those people can even compare to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard himself, let's be honest, isn't even the best player in our current team, let alone the past 10 years. Even Max Dowman, who has only just turned 16, is better than Odegaard. I mean, you've got Saka, you've got Saliba, you've got Gabriel, you've got Rice. They're all better, more effective, more valuable, more efficient players. So what are we doing here? What the hell is this guy doing? I think I've got to really just hope that this is just trolling. But we've seen this guy before appear on this show, and he really does seem to be genuine, and it's quite sad, really. You do sometimes wonder with people like this how they navigate like their actual reality. How do they navigate their home life? How do they navigate their social life? Well, I guess the answer is they don't have a social life, unfortunately. Maybe if they did, they would start to understand why people refer to Arsenal fans as the most delusional fans in the world. Why I have friends who have been cool with Arsenal fans for 20 years I've known them suddenly get so triggered and wound up just at the very mention of us. It's quite peak times, people. And for this reason, the best player to play for Arsenal in the last 10 years, Martin Odegaard. At crack, you take the gold medal today. Nobody's beating you. The day is yours. I'm out of here. Peace.